Good evening, dear friends. This is going to be a very quick video. After I challenged ex-Muslims to come to a debate, I have requests from ex-Muslims to have dialogues with me. Two of them, one Abdullah Sameer, he already had a dialogue with me, a chat rather, with me, which ended up in a sort of a mild debate. And on the other hand, I also received a text from Introverted Smile, and I told him that I would love to talk to him whenever our times match. It was a unique experience that I had with Abdullah Sameer. He's a good friend of mine. We spoke many years ago, then we spoke again earlier today. I was a guest in his channel. Both of us, when we were ex-Muslims, we were allegedly fighting against hate towards ex-Muslims. And we were claiming, and he's still probably, I don't know, I'm not going to talk for Sameer, but anyway, I was talking about how Muslims, many of them, would hate ex-Muslims like I was then. And I was receiving death threats, I was receiving hate and abuses on a daily basis. But I was surprised. Well, it was not a big surprise though, because I have been receiving such abuses since coming back to Islam. And trust me, most of these abuses are coming from people who used to love me when I was an ex-Muslim. That's the fact. Many of them are extremists of other communities. For example, I have people hating me from devout Hindu groups. I have haters now from even some fringe few Muslims who think I'm a munafiq or something to hide, and etc. But overwhelming majority of the haters that I'm receiving now are either atheists, very fanatic Christians, etc. But what is surprising is whenever I go to an ex-Muslim's channel, I find that I get abused. This has become a common thing. I get abused. Left and right, I get abused by the very people who are always beating drums about freedom of speech, right to choose, etc. But when it comes to a choice like mine, I chose to go back to Islam, but it seems that they find it utterly impossible to believe. They find it absolutely, for me, someone to have become mad, etc. And I get abuses. I even got a few death threats. So this proves beyond doubt that they find me betrayer. They have a tribal attitude towards reverts like me. I also know of many reverts who became Muslims from other religions, face the same thing. Probably it happens in all communities, but this is the fact. They tell me that being atheist doesn't mean that you belong to any particular community because it doesn't give you any religious directions, etc. But I can tell you, for example, I have done intensive research, thorough research in Islamic jurisprudence and everything. And Islam doesn't call for apostates to be killed. It doesn't call for believers to kill because of their belief. And I will do an intensive research-oriented video soon for you all to watch. I would also love to debate with anyone out there who wants to debate with me on the particular issue of whether Islam calls for death of apostates from Islam. Exactly on this point. If there is anybody out there who wants to debate with me on this particular point, you are welcome to a debate. But if you go to Abdullah Sameer's channel, and if you try to watch the dialogue I had with him, you will see that under the live feed comment boxes, all of them, 99% of them, are making personal abuses and harasses towards me. When both Sameer and I, we were both friendly, we were both respectful towards one another, and I even showed my love for him. I even expressed my love for his audience, but they were all abusive. They were telling that I even came back probably for getting back with my family, which is not true because I still haven't got my son back. and I'm not going to give in just because I came back to Islam and they will be all loving me for that. No, I still have condemned my mother, saying that you are not worthy of having reconciled with me, because obviously you hated me for my decision. And again, there, some of them would say that I am doing it because I want to go back to Bangladesh after 3 decades of being in the West, when I am still criticizing in every strong term that I can think of all the political parties in Bangladesh. And my followers and my subscribers will bear testimony towards that, because I haven't stopped my criticism against any political party in Bangladesh. So those are all baseless. And the same way, when I had left Islam, I was getting criticisms like I'm a sell-off. I was doing it because I'm an Israeli poodle and all that. I'm getting a lot of money. And the same thing is happening now from Muslim haters, absolutely Muslim haters. The same sort of abuses. What does it prove? It proves there are haters in every community. And when you keep on attacking a particular community, haters flock around you. It is a proven fact. So ex-Muslims overwhelmingly are gathering Muslim haters around them. If you don't believe me, go to Abdullah Sameer's channel and you will find the proof of it. And my friend Abdullah Sameer, very nicely, he condemned such behavior. But it also proves that atheism by default has become a religion as well, and it creates tribal attitude, and it has done so. And hate doesn't belong to any particular community; it is prevalent everywhere. And when you keep on hating a particular community, and you gather subscribers or followers or whatever around you, then you'll find one day you'll be submerged under hate. And I have always criticized hatred. When I was an ex-Muslim, I still condemned attacks at Christchurch Mosque, if you remember. When I was a Muslim before that, I also condemned Islamist terrorist attack in Paris. I also condemned atrocities against Hindus in Bangladesh. So I still believe in freedom of choice of anyone, and I believe that people can be called to their way of the argument with the most beautiful words, and with kindness and love and reason. And we must also agree to disagree. We must also respect people's choices. But I don't see that to be true when it comes to massive number of followers that usually gather around ex-Muslims. And Abdullah Sameer's channel is a vivid example of that. I had a bitter experience, and I must also reiterate that Abdullah Sameer voiced his concern about it, and Abdullah Sameer condemned this, and he also said that makes him sad, which is a great thing. I appreciate his gesture, and I know that I'm doing works to reform the Islamic jurisprudence, because I believe that Islamic jurisprudence has drifted away from Quran a lot, and somebody like me has a responsibility to reform it. And I know down the way, when I'm trying to reform it, I will have objectors, I will have haters who not love to change their ways, because they are still trying to follow the ways of the majority, and because they find it comfortable. They don't find the mental strength or intellect to listen to me at some times when I have a valid point. I would always welcome constructive criticism whenever I say something, but basing on assumptions is also against Quran, very much so. If you read Surah Hujurat verse 12, to reach for negative assumptions can sometimes be sinful. Thank you for listening. I will upload my chat with Abdullah Sameer in a while, but you can in the meantime go and watch this on Abdullah Sameer's channel. Thank you. Take care.